Just your gentle daily reminder that busted makes me feel good. The Nationals have taken 2 out of 3 from the New York Mets at Citi Field. And as the title of the show suggests, which I wrote in haste about an hour ago, the Nats do own Citi Field. Well, hi there, I'm Ron Juckett, and welcome to the DoDCast postgame show for this September 24th, 2017, a hot, sticky day here in Vermont and down in Queens. But the Nats win their 94th of the year as they win today 3-2. Good performances from Victor Robles, who made some tremendous catches in right field, including one where he robbed a double or a triple early on and had his face rub up against the wall. The chain link fence out there between right in front of the Nats bullpen and right center at Citi Field. He just went face first right into it. It didn't face him a bit. And, of course, how about Sammy Solis coming in with the bases loaded and 2 out? He got on a 3-1 count and worked out of it. He got a strikeout. That's amazing. He punched his ticket for October right there. So, and Brandon Kinsler picks up the save. So let's get right to it. Let's look at the totals. Wow. I just saw as I switched tabs that we here in Burlington have set a record. It hit 90 here today. It's the latest in the year it's ever been to 90 degrees in this part of Vermont. Oh, yeah, Mike Scherzer pitched today, and he won. So the Nats go to 94-61. They have 7 games left. So if they take 6, they could win 100. If they go 4-3, they're a 98-win team. Not too shabby, boys and girls. The Nats, 3 runs on 5 hits and no errors. The Mets, 2 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. Max Scherzer only goes, I believe it was 6. 16-6 on the year as he picks up the win. Jacob deGrom was lovely, and his pitches were filthy. Takes a loss. He goes to 15-10. He's the first Mets pitcher since 2014 to throw 200 innings in a year. It's amazing that no one did that in the World Series 2 years ago. Brandon Kinsler picks up his first save as a Nat, picks up his 29th of the year, giving the Nats another option as we head into the postseason if he's not used in the 7th inning role. The Mets slide to 66-89. Mets have some good speed. If they can keep their pitching healthy next year, you wonder what they're going to do. Also will make a huge difference for the Mets who the manager is, as Terry Collins is expected to retire once this season ends. Oh, yeah, and the other big play for Victor Robles was the outfield assist. He caught Phillip Evans napping off of first base on a fly ball and just the immediate instinct to throw to first to get him. It was close, but they got him, and that probably helped lock down the game for the Nats. So runners in scoring position, the Mets pitchers actually did a good job. They held the Nats to 5 hits, 3 singles, and 2 extra base hits. The triple by Murph is 3rd, and Trey Turner's 11th homer of the year, a 2-run shot. So the Nats only had 2 runners in scoring position chances, or risky situations. They went 1 for 2 and stranded only 3 runners today. A good day for them. Scherzer, it was 6 innings, 3 hits, a run it was earned, a solo homer early by Brandon Nimmo. He walked 1 and struck out 10. It was his 64th career 10 strikeout game for the Immaculate One. Didn't feature the fastball a lot today. Only hit 94 with it when he did feature it a few times, but his off-speed stuff is pretty devastating. He goes to 16-6. Joe Blanton worked around a walk, 7th hold of the year. Ryan Madsen did not make it out of the 8th inning. First time he's done that, had to be yanked mid-inning. This was back-to-back appearances for him. 11 pitches yesterday, looked really sharp. Did not look sharp today. He did strike out 2, but he allowed 3 hits and a run and a walk. In his 24 pitches, only 13 were strikes. That's a concern, come on, when they get real in a couple weeks here. He's going to have to be able to do it. There's no point in a best-of-5 series that you play 3 games in a row, but you're going to have 2 sets of 2 games in a row, or at least 1. Games 1 and 2 will be back on back-to-back days in Washington. And assuming that wherever it's Chicago, Milwaukee, or St. Louis for the middle 2, Those games would be, if the series goes for, would be in back-to-back days. Sammy Solis, one batter, one strikeout, 6 pitches, 3 strikes. He got down 3-1 and then bore right down and got a huge strikeout with the bases loaded. And Brandon Kinsler, as we said in the 9th, 2 bloopers and bleeders, no strikeouts, but he got the 3 outs, and the Nats got the win. They win this one 3-2 in front of 29,057 at a very hot and sticky Citi Field. Oops. Message retracted from my own account here. I wonder what I said. Drew says Robles has been outstanding. Goodwin is close to returning. That's true, but I think they may take Robles over him since Goodwin hasn't played in a month. It depends. If Goodwin can be called up tomorrow, Drew, I could definitely see a case where he has a week to make his case. They're going to be, again, it's going to be just like before, just like the rest of the week. This week, it's going to be a mix of, we have to take some of these games seriously, along with, just as you saw with Ryan Zimmerman this weekend, we're not going to put anyone in a position to get hurt or is tired. So I don't know, but Robles has just been, Robles was the star of the show today. His instincts, I said this on Twitter, there was a couple times in where he lost fly balls in the sun over those high decks at Citi Field, where once he found the ball, he waved off anyone around him. It was on instinct, and he made the catches. I mean, October skies are always tough because the sun sits so low in the sky. You're used to playing day games anyway, but it just doesn't. The sun doesn't get as high, and it's easy to lose fly balls. I won't talk about the Yankees example I have in my head because they won their particular playoff game, but anyone who remembers Lou Piniella knows what I'm talking about. Judo says Scherzer's better, Strasburg's better. You know what? If it wasn't for Gio, I'm leaning on that Gio as this team's MVP. You know, I'm taking my chances with all 4 of those starters coming a couple weeks, Judo. But Gio's the one that's going to grab all the starts and pitch deep into all the games. That's a nice problem to have, though, don't you think? I certainly do. So the Nats take 2 out of 3 this weekend from the Mets after playing a decent series down in Atlanta. So any of you who might have been concerned about hangovers and such after the clinching series, the Nats are in a position where they could, if they went 6-1 the rest of the way, win 100 games, which has never been done before. John Burrell, hi, John, how are you? Robles versus the Goodwin for the postseason, tough call. I think you would have to give it to Robles, just because Robles has played healthy, and just because you can pinch run Robles, even if he never sees the field, he's liable to steal a base. And the Nationals have made a concerted effort throughout the year. Yes, they now had the franchise record with 206 home runs this year, but baseball has league records of home runs, the most ever in any season. But the Nats have made a concerted effort to try to win games via small ball. And even though Goodwin has tremendous speed, I like what I've seen from Robles so far. Judo says I don't get Masson. I watch the games on Masson, but I listen to Charlie and Dave over him, Judo. But they show a stat: the top 3 career ERAs hit Citi Field. and you ready for this? It's Gio Gonzalez, Max Scherzer, and Steven Strasburg. That's why the Nats own Citi Field. Yes, Judo, you could say they like Citi Field. What did I see? They were 42-16 at the new place in Queens. They play really well. Of course, they've had a good run the last few years anyway. Kind of dovetails with the new park. Drew makes unkind comments towards the Mets, but I want that on a T-shirt. I love it. I just love it. So overall, a very good weekend for the Nationals. As I said, if there's a concern for me, it's Madsen going in back-to-back days. He just didn't seem to have it today. But even Jose Lobaton had a couple hits. today for Washington. I mean, it all seemed to go right again today, and when the bullpen was challenged, they did give up a run. They bent, but they did not break. And that's what you want to see this time of year, along with everyone staying healthy and bubble wrap. And no, I did not have any trouble, and I'm sure none of you did in the chat either, with Max Scherzer being shut down after 87 pitches today. If he needed to go the seventh, I'm sure he would have. But there's just no reason for it. Oh, Judo says, as far as pitching in Citi Field is concerned, he threw probably the second greatest game ever pitched in a 17K, no walk, no hitter. Oh, yeah, that's there. The Mets keep moving in the fences because it is such a hard park to hit home runs in. But the ones that the Nats hit this weekend were all legitimate home runs. Murphy's yesterday off the base of the apple. And the couple, well, one was actually, another one that was hit was actually, I believe, into the party deck. But the one today was hit over the party deck. So they're just looking good. And it's good. It's nice to have that advantage that Daniel Murphy brings, that they just play harder against the Mets. If you want to say they're the closest thing to a harsh division rival right now, I would say that. But theoretically, they can all do that if someone else could get close to the Nats in the standings, which wasn't the case at all this year. All right, let's take a look at other games of interest for you around baseball. Honestly, he's watching the Patriots anyway. First one on the list, Yankees game. They're losing to Toronto 9-5 with 2 outs in the top of the ninth. Pittsburgh leads St. Louis 4-1. That's huge for Milwaukee and Colorado. 1 out in the bottom of the eighth, 2 out. Baltimore eliminated yesterday from postseason consideration. They lead Tampa today 9-4. Cubs in a big one in Milwaukee. I'm sure that's on TBS. 3-0 with no one out in the bottom of the seventh. Miami and Arizona, a scoreless in the bottom of the first. Colorado and San Diego will play at 4:40. San Francisco and the Dodgers are playing. It's Kershaw and Bumgarner at Dodger Stadium. No score in the second. Let's see. If in the other game of the division, the Phils shut down the Braves today. 2-0. Minnesota locking up or doing their best to win that second wild card in the American League. They swept the Tigers this weekend. And they won today 10-4. So that takes care of the scoreboard. Well, let's see. Judo throws out this tidbit. Max is the only pitcher to throw multiple no-walk, no-hitters. Oh. But not 2 perfect games. There must have been an error involved in the game. Oh. Hit by pitch. Drew says Tabata leaned in. What a bum. Yes. Yes. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I imagine this week it's 3 against the Phillies in Philadelphia. And then 4 must-see games against Pittsburgh at home. Okay, I won't even pretend that they're must-see games. But seriously, if they win 6 of their last 7, they're a 100-win team. If they win 5, they're 99. And I believe, if they go a reasonable 4-3, which good criminy, why wouldn't they? They've won 90. They could win 98 this year. I mean, this was a 95-win team last year. And considering all the injuries that this team has gone through, the fact that not only did they clinch earlier than anyone else, but they have the best record of any team in Nationals history. That's pretty impressive. 1 batter away from 2 perfect games was Max. Perfect games are so tough. You always need some luck, too, in them. All right, what did we do today? Drew did. Adam Lind is our player of the week. Ricky Keeler did a nice piece on Sean Kelly's injuries. Now he's probably done for the year after numbness in his hand following his last appearance. Honestly, I think it's something that has bothered him since last year, off and on. Just explains why the numbers were just so horrific for so long. So that's what we ran on the site today. Tomorrow we'll have a preview of the final series against the Phillies. And we will have most of our group wrote what they thought was the turning point of the season for the Nats, and we'll have that for you at noontime tomorrow. That's pretty cool. Trey hits Judo says Trey hits a lot of dingers for a stolen base leader. You know what? I said this yesterday, and no one joined me except for Ricky. That he reminds me so much of Tim Raines. That he does have power, and Raines had some power early in his career. And so, yeah, Turner can beat you in so many different ways. He can beat you with his glove. He can beat you with his speed, and he can beat you with some power. I mean, there really is a chance next year, if he can actually play the full season, why he couldn't do another, why he couldn't steal 75 to 80 bases, especially with Adam Eaton behind him taking pitches. That's big. Larry Jacobs. Hi, Larry. How are you? I feel Adam Lind would have hit 20 homers if he played more. What a steal for the Nats. Yeah, I hope that Lind, remember, he has a mutual option. The Nats could bring him. He and the Nats could agree to bring him back for $4.5 or $5 million. I forget. But, yeah, there's been so many steals. Matt Albers, Howie Kendrick, the law firm, especially Doolittle and Manson. This is, again, mostly everything under the radar. They made the big splash to get Eaton, who unfortunately got hurt early on, but everyone else, just little bits and pieces and bobs, and when you put it together, it adds up to a 95 to 100 win year. Judo says he could be another MVP candidate should the Nats do well in the playoffs. Well, remember, Judo, that we have to vote for MVP before the season ends. So the MVP is all based on regular season work. What happens in October doesn't matter as far as that is concerned. It's all about what you do in the regular season. And I'm going to have a tough time voting in that. I have to vote by next Sunday night, as a matter of fact, on National League MVP. It's a big, Joey Votto's had a great year, but the Reds haven't done very well. Paul Goldschmidt has had a tremendous year. That's how I'm leaning. But Stanton could have 60 home runs. Judo fell asleep last night. I wish I could have. Oh, postseason MVP? Well, they do it by each round, but yes, Turner especially, could literally steal a game in one of these series, probably the National League Championship Series, and that could be it. He's a player that is ripe to go through now that he's healthy and the speed is there and his timing is back. Yes, he could actually steal his way to a postseason series MVP. And wouldn't it be cool if it was the big one at the end of October? It's okay, Judo. You're allowed to go to sleep. All right, not going to give you any football scores today because the Redskins play the Sunday night game against the Oakland Raiders. Drew will be with you tomorrow night for the return of Bryce Harper. It's a big week. Harper's ready and raring to go. Lots of sim game action. Took batting practice today with the club. Put on a show for those that got to Citi Field early enough to watch it, and they will try to give him as many at-bats as possible. He only has a week to get ready, and then remember, with the season ending Sunday, the Nats have 4 days off before they play Game 1 Friday in Washington against probably the Chicago Cubs. So it's important for Harper to get as much of that timing back, and then during those off days, because remember, they're not traveling. They close the season at home and will open the postseason at home, to keep that timing going and to get players like him and Brian Goodwin, if he does make the postseason roster, enough legitimate reps at the plate to make sure that once the bell rings that Friday, that the Nats are fully ready to go. So a good weekend nonetheless for the Nats. They take 2 out of 3. The last visit to Philadelphia starts tomorrow night, 3 night games, and then 4 against the Pirates to end the series. We won't be live tweeting as much during the Pirates games, but we will be doing shows every night or every game after the Pirates. Just so you know. All right, so follow us on Twitter at District on Deck. Give this video a like and subscribe here on YouTube. Facebook, we post everything there. Give us a follow there. And of course, districtondeck.com. I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for being with being with us today. And for Ricky and Drew and the rest of the staff, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.